Thank you for all of your comments in the chat. Now we're transitioning into our final panel of the day, which will highlight a discussion amongst a few of our Global Advocacy Network members. This session will include a discussion amongst members of our Global Advocacy Network, where they explore the different ways our advocates have utilized their creative skills to create an impact that fuels their purpose. Riccardo, thank you so much for being here. Riccardo is one of our Global Advocacy Network members, and he will be facilitating the discussion today. Take it away, Riccardo.
Thank you so much, Faith. It's a pleasure to be here, and I am excited for our panel today. I'm Riccardo, and I joined the Global Advocacy Network with T1 International this year. So far, it has been a great experience, and I've been able to connect with volunteers all around the world who share the passion for type 1 diabetes advocacy. I'd like to introduce you to Eleanor, Justice, and Arina too. Today we'll be discussing creativity in advocacy and how you can use things like social media, dance, film, and sports to make a change. I hope you enjoy the session. Please take it away, Eleanor.
Thank you for the introduction, Riccardo. Hello, I'm Eleanor, and I have been a global advocate for a year now. So I am the global advocate for the United Kingdom, and being from the UK, I am very fortunate with the National Health Service, who provide all my medication free of charge and with ease of accessibility. Therefore, I would like to use my platform to help T1 with their fundraising. So I have chosen to run the London Royal Parks Half Marathon, which covers 4 of the lovely parks in central London. So I'll be doing this on the 8th of October to run the 13.1 miles. So as of today, I have raised £635, but I do have a target of 1,000. So I have decided to run the half marathon due to me recently graduating university and in order to give me another goal to reach. So I have always been a keen runner, but of shorter distances. So I used to represent my county in 100 and 200 meters. So the thought of running anything longer than this has been quite scary, but I've been gradually building up my distances, but these 13 miles will be the longest run yet. But this journey has not only been about fundraising, but has also been an educational experience of learning about my blood sugars and how they are affected through exercise. So I've had many training days where I've had to delay my run due to a hypo, or even experiencing fast drops in my blood sugar post runs or pre-runs. So this extra complexity of having diabetes has not meant that it has stopped me completing this length of running, but has only added another dynamic that we as diabetics must overcome. My continuous glucose monitor has been a savior throughout my runs. And without this, I think I really would have struggled. But running has also given me a time for self-awareness and a space for mental escapism, showing me the power of a positive mental attitude, as well as a newfound appreciation for my body and its capabilities. So by raising money for T1, I hope to support the charity so they can carry on doing the amazing work they're doing. This is just the start of my running journey. So I do have a full marathon in me somewhere. So I'll work towards this being my next target. So we're all here fighting for the same cause and share the same goals to help a diabetic life in every corner of the world easier. So any donations towards my half marathon would be highly appreciated. I'm going to hand over to Justice. I'd love to hear more about how you use films and documentaries to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eleanor. Hello, everyone. And it's a pleasure to be here with you all today, celebrating the 10-year anniversary of T1 International. I am Chernor Mustapha Thoronka, a local documentary and fiction filmmaker in Northern Sierra Leone. I started my film career in 2017 with the aim of using art to address social issues and change society. I have worked on projects for the BBC, FVMC, DW, PFP, and a number of international media outlets. I am currently a co-founder and filmmaker at Apex Multimedia. I found about diabetes when my grandma, who raised me alone, was diagnosed. She passed away from diabetes complications. We only found out her condition by the time it was too late to do anything about it. Moreover, it is likely the treatment would have been unavailable, so I understand directly the struggles people with diabetes go through. In Sierra Leone, most people with diabetes have no access to the life-saving drug, insulin. For some, this means they will die. The lack of health infrastructure means Most diabetic will not be diagnosed and therefore suffer diabetes-related problems without knowing what to do. The main problems I have identified for those with diabetes are misinformation. People with diabetes are being labeled as witches, like one of my characters in the documentary I published. However, she was labeled as a witch because of some of the symptoms she has shown as a diabetic. There is also lack of proper medical care. When people start showing symptoms, people label them as witches and start trying to use herbs and remedies that do not work. And there is little or no access to insulin. Poverty is another problem, as people cannot afford insulin even if it is available. There are only 2 organizations in the whole of Sierra Leone that have been bringing insulin. At one of the organizations, Help Medina, our option is to bring insulin to Sierra Leone in a suitcase from the UK. You can imagine that we are very limited in how much insulin we can bring with us. Another issue is that there is no culture of preventive care. People do not normally have access to regular hospital appointments to get checked. They only go to the hospital when they are sick. By the time, it might be too late to get them the help that they need. In response to the need that we have identified, we believe the best way to tackle this information gap is a 2-way approach. First, to produce a documentary film that will get out to international news organizations, as well as this having the potential to be a tool for international movements to raise awareness and campaign on the issue. We hope it will add pressure to the national government to act to improve diabetes care. Second is to produce an educational film that engages local people on the issue and provide them with vital, potential life-saving information on diabetes care at home and in the community. We understand that a film with a dramatic narrative will engage the most people. So we will produce a fiction story. The key message, particularly around symptoms, solutions, stigma, will be incorporated within the story. I have produced a 12-minute documentary, Help for Our Diabetes in Sierra Leone, that was broadcasted by Germany, DW Germany. The documentary is about a 15-year-old Awanatu who was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. She lived in a village with limited access to healthcare and hours away from the nearest big city. She is currently receiving free insulin and treatment at the Holy Spirit Diabetic Clinic. She's under the umbrella of Help Medina, who bring free insulin to Sierra Leone.
At first, I didn't realize I had diabetes. Then I noticed that when I urinated outside, it would attract ants that would eat it. I was getting really sick. They tried traditional medicine, herbs, and so on. There was no improvement. I became too weak to go to school. That was 3 years ago, and I'm still too weak. They did tests and said it was diabetes, but I still didn't understand what it was.
Hawa is now receiving free treatment from Help Medina. However, there are many unfortunate people in Sierra Leone and around the world who do not even know they have diabetes and are not receiving treatment for it. Hence, I am using film as an educational tool to spread awareness about diabetes. Thank you for your time, and I will now hand over to Arina. Arina, you can please go ahead.
Thank you, Justice. This is me 2 years ago. It was one of the happiest and calmest moments. But what is special about this picture is that it's a perfect demonstration of how I see myself in the future, always in harmony with myself. Next slide, please. I was diagnosed in November 1997. From day one, my parents showed me that diabetes is simply a different lifestyle and it's not limiting to my life. I'm forever grateful to them for sharing this philosophy with me from the very beginning of my diabetes journey. Next slide, please. Unfortunately, despite what my parents taught me, different life events related to health issues, family issues, work, relationships, and so on, make me depressed and weak. They can negatively affect my diabetes management. I simply try to find plenty of reasons to ignore diabetes and deal with other problems instead. Here are magical ways I discovered which help me distract myself from constant anxious thoughts about diabetes and deal with depressive episodes. It is creativity that obviously makes me feel on top of my diabetes management. Now I'm going to play a short part of my new video showing me in a constant pursuit of diabetes and emotional stability. Why advocate? Well, thanks to T1 International, I can inspire other diabetics to use creativity as a secret weapon on the way to calm the mind and improve life with diabetes. Everyone is free to decide which creative tool is a perfect match for them. Isn't it amazing? Next slide, please. Life is full of challenges. We all have them. Art has helped me through my own deep valleys. Sarah Gio. Once I saw this powerful quote by American writer Sarah Gio, I thought it should be a perfect one for my last slide. I'm sure many of you can relate to that. I just wish you all are going to get back to the things that you've forgotten and to the ones that made you happier. Put on your favorite track and dance. Open your sketchbook and draw something. Attend an arts and crafts workshop, and so on. Do not forget to check blood sugars. I'm sure you'll be happy and surprised to see your readings in range. Thank you all so much for listening to me today. I'm handing back over to Riccardo. Hi, Riccardo.
Hi, Arina. That was fantastic. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed working alongside Eleanor, Justice, and Arina, and I'm sure you can see why. They inspire me to keep going with my own advocacy. Again, I'm Riccardo and I live in Italy. Here we don't have the same issue with access to insulin as many other countries in the Global Advocacy Network, but I believe that the fight is not over until everybody in the world has access to the medicine that they need. I was diagnosed in 2006 when I was 13. And after that, I finished my school and did the university where I became a master graduate in actuarial science. I have been working in the actuarial field since 2017. In my free time, I am a singer, songwriter, guitar and piano player, and I love traveling and meeting people. I started my advocacy in early 2023 because I want to inform people about life with diabetes and its social issues. I strongly believe in the power of social media for sharing information. First of all, we need to be more known in Italy, also creating relationships with diabetes-related influencers. In Italy, insulin is guaranteed for all people with T1 diabetes, but we face many problems with burnout and with the risk of discrimination. Studies confirm that a person with diabetes has to make 180 decisions in average in a day, more than a person without. It could be interesting to share these types of information with some practical examples and results. Instagram can be a first social media tool to be used for this purpose. I think that this idea could be very powerful, but also challenging. It's not easy to find a network of potential audience. And in addition, in Italy, we have a universal healthcare system, so we need to convince people of our position in respect to Big Pharma. Just because we have free insulin in Italy, it doesn't mean that we can't fight for access to insulin for other people around the world. However, we should find a way to be more impressive and creative, and this will be one of the most important challenges in my advocacy during the next year. And that's all from us today. I really appreciate you all for joining us today to celebrate T1 International. And now I'll open up the floor for questions. Does anybody in the audience have a question for myself or for Arina, Eleanor, or Justice?
Thank you so much, Arina, Riccardo, Eleanor, and Justice. Unfortunately, we're running really over time, so we don't have time for Q&A this session, but please do put questions in the chat. Arina, Riccardo, Eleanor, and Justice are able to answer from the chat, and I think it's just good to be thinking about these things in general. But what a great discussion. All of you are bringing so much innovation and creativity to our global advocacy network. And I don't tell you enough, but I often feel inspired after speaking with you all. The ideas that you come up with to support T1 International and to advocate for insulin access are amazing. So thank you again for your time today. Did you know that we hold the only survey that looks at out-of-pocket costs that people with type 1 diabetes pay for insulin and testing supplies? We carry out the survey every 2 years and use it in our advocacy to fight for lower insulin costs. This is just one of the steps we're taking to push forward our fight for insulin for all. And you can take a look at our research and use the publicly available data too at t1international.com/access-survey.